My dear students, welcome to today's online class. Today I am going to start new chapter, that is chapter number 8, function overloading. Function overloading. We started second unit. In that second unit, first we discussed chapter number 6, that is basic concepts of OOP, basic concepts of object oriented programming. There we studied explanation of basic concepts of OOP as well as comparison between procedural programming with object oriented programming. And in the next 7th chapter we studied class assigned objects. Means in this chapter in the class assigned object we learnt what is an class object, how to declare class, how to define member functions in the class, how to declare objects, how to access members of a class with the help of a special operator called a dot operator. Like this also we discussed how to define a member function inside the class, outside the class. Is it possible to use array in class? Yes, it is possible, right? So like that we discussed some topics based on class and objects. And now next chapter, that is chapter number 8, function overloading. From this chapter we are getting 5 marks for the annual examination. Also we have one lab program on this chapter for your second year lab examination. See here, function overloading. Today we are going to discuss two topics in this chapter. That is, first one, what is the mean by function overloading. Second one, declaration of function overloading, right? First we are going to discuss what is the mean by function overloading. Second we are going to discuss declaration of function overloading. What is the mean by function overloading? Before going to define function overloading, you see in a C program it is not possible to declare the number of functions with the same name. Means in a C, using C language we are going to write some program. Means that program must include number of functions, but all functions must have different name. But C++ allows multiple functions with the same name. C++ allows in C++ programming multiple functions with the same name. This function overloading is also referred as function polymorphism. This function overloading is also referred as function polymorphism. See here, poly means many, Morph means forms. Poly means, we already learned the definition of polymorphism, right? So poly means many, morphs means forms, means function polymorphism means many forms, a function with a same function with many forms. So what is mean by this function overloading means, in C++ we have this facility, that is we can use number of functions with the same name, is called, this facility is called function overloading. Means, whereas in a C programming language, in a program, suppose we are using the same function twice, means we get an error, that is a function is already defined. Suppose I am using one add function in C programming, afterwards I am using the same add function, means I am going to write code for the same add function, means I am getting an error, that is already function add is defined, you are defining one more time, means a function is used once in a program. Whereas in a C++, it is possible to use number of functions with the same name. This is possible. Means we can overload same name number of times. This facility is available in C++. So what is the polymorphism means? Polymorphism or function overloading means, in a C++ programming, it is possible to use number of functions with the same name, is called function overloading or function polymorphism. For example, see here, int add, int add float, int. Suppose like this, we are going to declare two add functions. This is first one, this is second one. To add functions in a C program means we are getting an error, that is function declaration is already done, function with the name is already declared. So more functions with the same name is not possible in C programming. More functions with the same name is not possible in C programming, whereas more functions with the same name is possible in a C++, and this concept is called function overloading, and this concept is called what? Function overloading. For example, first function I am going to use int add of int, second function I am going to use int add of int. It allows, here is add function is there, here first function name is add, second function name is also add. So this is allowed in C++, that is we can use a number of functions with the same name in C++. It is possible. So this technique is called function overloading, but we have some restrictions. That is, see here, first function is int add of int, second function int add of int. We are getting an error because C++ allows number of functions with the same name, but it has some rules. C++ allows a number of functions with the same name, but we have to follow some rules to allow function overloading. That is, what parameters means functions with the open bracket, closed bracket, what we are considering, those are called parameters or arguments, right? So whenever we are using a number of functions, we are overloading functions means C++ allows, but we have to take care, that is these these arguments must be different. For example, see here, this add function contains one parameter, this second add function also contains one parameter. So these parameters are of int. First parameter, first function, first parameter is integer, second function, first parameter is also integer. So here what parameters we are going to consider for the different functions, they must be different, then only function overloading is possible. Here this first function parameter type is int, second function parameter type is also int, means parameters data type is matched. So here function overloading is not possible. Yes, C++ allows number of functions with the same name. Those functions must have different signature, then function overloading is allowed. So different signature means here what parameters we are going to consider in the functions, they must be different. They must be different. Here just observe here, first function contains int data type, second function is also contains int data type, means here this is called function signature. To allow function overloading, function signature must not be matched. That is, just see one example. For example, you consider int add int float char, and another function int add int float char. See here, what is the mean by function signature? Function signature means what parameters or arguments we are going to consider in functions, those must be same, then it is called function signature. For example, this is a first function, it contains three parameters or arguments of int float char, and the second function is name is also add, it contains parameters as int float char, means first function data type is int, second function data type, first data type is also int, first function second data type is float, second function second data type is also float, first function third data type is char, second function third data type is also char, right? So they are matching. This is called function signature. This is called function signature. What is the mean by function signature? Number of functions with the same name with the same ordered argument list. is called function signature, right? Simple thing. What is mean by function signature? Number of functions with the same name, with the same ordered argument list is called function signature. For example, first function name is add, second function name is add. First function contain 3 arguments or 3 parameters in the order int, float, char. Second function name is also add. It also contains what? Parameter list in an order same as first one, int, float, char. So here argument list is matched, right? So this is called function signature. This is called what? Function signature. Now, what is the function overloading? Function overloading is the process of declaring more functions with the same name with the following set, or following rules. That is, first one, functions must have same name. First one is, what is the first rule? Functions must have same name. Second one, functions must be different signature. Functions must be different signature. Means, while defining definition of function overloading, we have to concentrate these 2 points. Of course, we know what is the meaning by function overloading means. It is possible in C++ to use more functions with the same name. This facility is possible, and this we are going to call function overloading. But in depth, when we are going to see what is the meaning of exactly function overloading means, we have to apply this using same named number of functions in the program, but we have to concentrate on these 2 points also. When this concept means using number of functions with the same name matches these 2 points, then it is called function overloading, right? Actually, function overloading means it is the concept of using number of functions with the same name in our program, right? Okay, but it must also have or satisfy these 2 points. First one is, functions must have the same name. Functions must have the same name. Second one is, functions must be different signature. Functions must have different signature. Now let us see, this is a function overloading. You consider these 2 statements. Sorry, you consider these 2 C++ statement, function declaration statement, and check it whether function overloading is there. No, these 2 statements are not represents function overloading, because of course 2 or more functions are there with the same name. We are going to think that this is function overloading. No, because we have to satisfy or we have to observe these 2 points while defining function overloading. See here, first one, functions must have same name. Check it. Both functions must have same name. Yes, it is possible. Functions must have same name, that is add. First point is clear. Second one, check it. functions must be different signature. Functions must be different signature. It means functions must contain parameters, or what function is going to contain arguments. They must be different in the declaration. That is called different signature. But here different signature is there? No. Here function signature is there. It must avoid function signature. But check here, int, float, char. Parameter list is matching. So parameter list is matching means function signature is there. So to perform function overloading, second point, functions must be different signature. We are not getting here a different signature. We are getting same declaration of argument list. That's why here we are getting function signature. We must get different function signature. That's why this is not an example for function overloading. This is not an example for function overloading. So what we have to do? We have to make declaration of arguments order must be different. So to make it as function overloading, we have to make changes here. That is, argument list int float char is there means we have to make change. That is, this order must be changed. We have to make char int. Then the declaration of order of argument is in the first function int float char. Declaration of order of argument in the second function is char float int. So order is not matching. That's why this is different signature, and it also satisfies first point, function must have same name. Now this is an example for function overloading. Now this is an example for function overloading, right? Now let us see another example. Let us see another example. Another example, that is consider that is now I am going to declare three functions to find the largest of three numbers. To find the largest of two number. So without considering this function overloading concept means in C how it is possible, how to find biggest of two numbers of different data types. Int float char means how we are going to write int large int of a comma b. Int float large float of float comma float char large char of char comma char. See here, I considered here three statements, or I declared three functions. First function is int large of int comma int. Second one is float large float of float comma float. Third one is char large char of char comma char. So these three functions are going to perform three different functions. That is, first function is used, or first function is declared to find largest of two integer numbers, and the second statement is used to find largest of float numbers. Third function is used to find largest among two characters, right? Means we are going to perform same operation on a different data types. So our aim is to find the largest between two integer, largest between two float numbers, largest between two characters, right? So here aim is same, that is to find the large. But in C, to perform all these tasks, we have to consider three different functions. But in C++, using the concept of function overloading, it is possible to find the largest of two number, largest of two integer number, largest of two float number, largest of two character with the same function name with a different signature. That is called function overloading concept is used in C++, and using this function overloading concept we can use number of functions with the same name. That is, in C we are using these three functions, whereas in C++ we are using following three functions with the same name called large function. For example, int large of int comma int, float large of float comma float, char large of char comma char, right? See here, in C++ the same task means finding largest of two integer, largest of two float, largest of two characters can be done with the same function name called large. Means in C++ we are using same name for different functions, whereas in C we are using different function names for different tasks. Whereas in C++ we are using same name large for three different tasks. That is, in C we are going to use function overloading concept to allow multiple functions with the same name. Now check the rules to perform function overloading. That is, first function, all the functions must have same function name. See here, first function has function name as large, second function has function name large, third function has function name large. So first rule is satisfied, that is, all the functions must have the same function name. Okay, large. And second one, each function parameter list must be different. That is, declaration of argument order must be different. That is, functions must have different function signature. Check it. First function has argument list int. Second function has argument list float. Third function has argument list char. Means this first function arguments int float, int, they are not matching with second function arguments because they are float. Third function contain char argument list data type. These are also not matching to the second as well as first. Means these functions have different signatures. These functions have different signature. So this is an example for what? Function overloading. Function overloading. Right? You get an idea, right? What is the function overloading? Using multiple functions with the same name with a different signature is called function overloading. Or else we can say function overloading means it must satisfy the following two conditions, that is all the functions must have the same name and all the functions must have different function signature. So this is called what? Function overloading. This is called what? Function overloading. So in the next class we are going to discuss how to declare these different functions in the program. Means in the next class we are going to discuss how to declare a function overloading, and afterwards we are going to write C++ program using this function overloading concept. Thank you, students.